Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, August the 17th, 2023. Thursday, August the 17th. As, okay, episode. Let's see what we got first. We have goodness. What's happening here? We haven't seen these two together this much in probably 6 months, right? You can always tell what's happening when they keep putting people in each other's orbit. So Sally was talking to Adam, and Adam's yeah, he's the black sheep. Everything gets snatched away from him, and you know, Sally wants him to, pretty much don't keep going down that dark path. Period. And she also said, bottom line, she was curious because he wanted to talk to her when he was going to go to the ranch. He said, can you stay? Because I have a question I want to ask you. She said, we didn't get around to it. We got interrupted. What did you want to ask me? So he ended up saying that he wanted to, again, let her know he wants to offer her a job because bottom line, he's getting Newman Media. It is going to be his. And she's perfect for that company, that she knows it inside and out, and he wants her to be CEO of it. So she goes, well, thank you for saying that, but from the way it sounds, you might be out of a job. And that's what he said, I might be out of a job, so this may be mute. And so she said, Adam, I've already told you, you and I working together again, it's just not gonna happen. It's not a good idea. And he said, Sally, we do well together in business. And I'm thinking, but Nick is in the mix, gonna be puffing up his chest. Sally walk in the room, Nick gonna stand up and get in front of her. So Adam don't have a clear, so that would be a nightmare. But you want to know what I feel is gonna happen? Just that, right? So anyway, she says, well, I am on my way to the ranch to give your father the answer that I am going to accept his offer. So, he goes, well, good luck with that. So she goes to the ranch and he says, well, Sally, nice to see you. Thank you for coming. She says, yes, I wanted to deliver in person my answer. I'm accepting your offer for opening up a divine design division at Newman. And he goes, oh, well, sorry to hear that. And she's like, wait, sorry to hear that. What does that mean? That son of a gun, and I mean Victor Newman, had the nerve to say, there's not going to be a divine design division at Newman because I have to focus all my attention on my two sons and the mess that they're making, at Augustus. Let me get this going. That's going to bug me the whole time. At Augustus. So I won't be investing, starting the design division, and not now, not ever. And she almost, how when you go, what? She almost did a spin like that, and she's looking at him. She says, I don't understand. And he goes, simple, not doing it now. And she says, I just have to ask, were you doing this, snatching it out from under me as a way of punishing me for something? He goes, no, not at all. I've already given you my answer. She says, yes, and I've heard it. She says, but I have already severed ties with Chancellor Winters, and they have already hired a design company that you referred to them. He looks at her like, what's your problem? He goes, good luck to you, Sally. No, he goes, you know what? I have to get ready for a conference call Good luck to you, Sally. And he now just took his phone. Rude. She stood up and she's like, well, okay then. I guess that's it, right? She's in shock. Look, I'm in shock because I can't believe it. You offer her this out the blue in front of Nick. And then you arrange for the contract she has to already be replaced by somebody else, right? When she hadn't even said yes yet. See, that's what I don't get. She hadn't even said yes, and Victor arranged with Jill, because remember he talked to Jill last week or before he went away. So now she has nothing. I can already tell Nick is going to be the one to say, come and work for us. See, she's not going to do it because Adam asked. But Nick is going to say, look, just come on. We got a job for you. We're just still going to make it a hot mess. So I just shook my head with that. So now we have Nate. Nate comes by. Nate's talking to Victoria. They saw each other, remember, at GCAC. He tried to convince her to go upstairs, and she's like, I told you I have to get dessert for the kids, right? So he leaves. He decides he's going to go to Victor's. And actually, Victor's is the next morning. Yeah, I think, no, same morning. Victor's same day. He goes, oh, Nate, good to see you. And he goes, Victor, thank you for seeing me. I wanted to come over to explain, the situation so you can hear my views to make sure everything is still okay. So he then gives his reasons as to why he did what he did to help Audra. Ultimately, he's protecting Newman. He had Newman's best interest at heart, yada, yada, yada. His loyalties are with Newman. He goes, I know I had a rocky start with my family's company, but this had nothing to do with that. And Newman, Victoria, Newman Media is all his focus was in protecting. And Victor said, okay, fine. And Nate just kind of looks at him. He goes, so are we good? And Victor's like, yep. Mm-hmm. And so he goes, as a matter of fact, and Victor says some other nonsense. It's nonsense because I couldn't remember it. He gets up, goes and gets this prospectus binder. He goes, here, Nate. This is a prospectus that Nicholas, Sharon, and Adam submitted on the Augustus, merger. I want you to look over all of this information, and then I want you to report your findings to me. And Nate's like, wait, huh? He goes, he takes it, he goes, of course, Victor, I feel honored that you want my input. He goes, Nate, you are the COO of Newman Enterprises. This is in your job scope. So I look forward to hearing your findings. And Nate says, right away, sir, right away. And I'm thinking, okay, now is he going to let Victoria know Daddy Dearest gave him an assignment? We shall see, right? We shall see. So now we also have, oddly, Billy requested a breakfast meeting with Victoria, and he wanted to express some concerns about the kids going to boarding school. He said, quite frankly, Vic, I don't want them to go. And she goes, Billy, we have already decided this. I can't believe you're bringing this up again. They want to go. And he says, well, I'm sorry. You can't fault me, but I want my children close. Well, she says something else. And then Billy says, I have to ask. is a reason you want to send them off to boarding school so you could spend more time at Newman and spend more time with Nate. She's like, how dare you ask me something like that? That I would put all of those things ahead of my children. Are you trying to say I'm a bad mother? He said, not at all. I'm not trying to say it at all. He's saying, but I have to wonder. And I thought, good for you, Billy. Good for telling her that, because that is exactly what she was doing, mainly to spend more time with Nate. And then she ended up saying, well, she's got something kind of alluding that there's problems with Nate. And Billy picked up on it. He goes, okay, so I'm sensing something's going on. I'm sensing that, you have some concerns. He said, because I have some concerns where Nate is concerned, you know? And so she goes, well, he goes, Victoria, you do know you could talk to me, Vic. And he says, she says, yeah, you're probably the only person I can talk out openly and honestly about this. So she does. I was surprised. Opens right on up to Billy. Yes, he kept something from her, and she overglossed it. He was trying to help a colleague and blah, 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 but he kept the information from her. And that has her concerned. And so Billy said, well, let me tell you from what I know about Nate. Nate only has his own self-interest in mind firsthand, and he will sell out even his family. And so she says, Nate is very ambitious, yes. And yes, Nate can be ruthless if it does serve his best interest. He would be ruthless against his family. And I honestly believe he would be ruthless and let Audra go if it served his best interest. And so Billy looks at her like, you know all this, yet you in a relationship with this guy? And she says, however, Nate and I have a special relationship, and he would not do that to me. So Billy looked, she goes, Nate has already expressed he wants to be side by side with me at the top, running Newman Enterprises. So Billy says, that right there, that a person would have I don't know if he said audacity, but almost like gall to say something like that to you, Victoria, at this early stage of the game. Nate is new to business. He goes, I see red flags with that all along. He says, and I'm going to tell you, I know you. You have to be concerned. And she goes, well, I will admit the fact that he did keep something from me, like, what he was trying to pursue. She goes, that does concern me. And I thought, uh-oh, trouble in paradise already. Finally, Victoria, finally, you're starting to look, engage, and monitor Nate now. See, Nate's not going to be able to get away with stuff like he had been. See, Victoria hadn't had a good peace between the sheets since Ashlyn died. And Nate scratched that itch, and now she could get her head out of the clouds or from under the sheets and say, wait a minute, you haven't even really been working for me for a year, and I've already promoted you way up there, right? Think about what you've done, Victoria. So now we have, let's see, the next thing we have Victoria leaves Billy. And we have, wait, Victoria goes to see her parents. Do I have a picture of that? I don't know that I do. I don't think that I do because I thought it wasn't worth it. She goes by. No, that was yesterday where she went by and they put those, Nikki put those seeds of doubt. Yeah, that's also why she kind of was able to open up to Billy with those seeds of doubt in her mind. So now we have Nick and Sharon are having a meeting. Nick was being his usual sarcastic, horrible self. I can't stand Nick Newman a lot of the time. I can't because he is sarcastic and he is rude and he is pompous. But he and Sharon found a place. They actually had to act fast and they bought the place, right? So, you know, but before they did that, Nick had to just bend Sharon's ear for a good 3 scenes. On Adams, is he always said, I'm sick of this, I'm sick of that. Adam, and I gotta worry about my brother. And so Sharon is being peacemaker. They did get a good peacemaker with her. She said, Nick, there's nothing that you're saying that Adam did is out of character for Adam. And he goes, and my father's giving him another chance. He won't just get rid of him. And she goes, and then again, Nick, there's nothing you're saying about Victor that's out of character for Victor. And she goes, and bottom line, Nick, let's really think about this. That merger between Augustus and Newman Media, she goes, that's a very good idea. Yeah. And she goes, and if it were anyone other than Adam, you'd be all on board. And he goes, well, yeah, it is a good idea. But Adam wants to do it for all the wrong reasons. And I thought, wait a minute, Nick, shut up. Don't be getting into Adam's reasons. If it's a good idea, it's a good idea. And you guys should have been behind it. Well, actually, they were behind it, but Victor ex-nayed it. So they quickly tiptoed, like, oh, okay. And Adam is like, no, it's a good idea. And this is a move you'd make, and everybody on the planet would make, right? And it's a move that once Victoria gets Augustus under her control, she is going to merge them and she's going to make Newman Media on top, except you want to know what Victor's not going to let her do? Not going to let her do that. He's not going to let her give Audra any kind of higher position than Nick, Sharon, and Adam. Victor's not going to let that happen at all. Okay. But anyway, Nick, yeah, he did agree. And she goes, Nick, you know what? You have spent all this time talking about the negatives of Adam. She goes, you can't control Adam. The only thing you can control is what we do. That's what you can control. You can control the steps that we make. Because he goes, I'm just sick and tired of every time I turn around. Adam is inserting himself into my life. You know, then he brought up Sally, how, you know, Sally was over at Adam's. And I know Adam, even though Sally said otherwise, that Adam is trying to manipulate the situation. And Adam. And Sharon said, Nick, Sally made her choice and she chose you. You would have to trust that. I do trust Sally. I just don't trust Adam. I don't trust Adam at all. So Sharon is like, well, then you're going to have to find a way to, because we're all working here together, Nick. And so he goes, and in my mind, when he says, every time I look around, you know, Adam inserts himself in my life. No, Nick, it's the other way around. You like to go after your brother's women. You do. You wanted to go after Chelsea. She was Adam's all the way. You wanted to go after Sage. She and Adam have been together, even though they kind of hid that, right? Adam and him has this cat and mouse game of wanting each other's women, and Nick knows it, and Nick continues to perpetuate that. There is no reason he should be with Sally at all. They don't even match as a team. So then Adam comes in to the meeting and he goes, okay, so what, I'm here, what I missed. And they were all happy looking at the computer, and he sits down and they said, well, we've made some decisions. He goes, okay, hit me with them. And she says, well, we found the perfect office space. And they turned the laptop around and he could see it. He goes, oh, that is nice. She goes, yes. And there were multiple bids. So we had to act fast. We had to secure it. So, they made the highest bid, and she goes, it's ours. And Adam says, great. And then she goes, and then there's another decision we made, because she and Nick decided, because Nick says, we got to get rid of that awful name of the company. We're a majority right now. We can decide. So he goes, I don't know. How about SNA Media? And she goes, Sharon, Nick, Adam. And I thought, how unoriginal and stupid is that, Nick? Right? That took no thought. And like he said, how about, oh, I don't know. And he threw it out there. And it sounds like he threw it out there. I would have liked Synergy better. Something like that. Come on now. So she goes, well, you're not going to like this one. He goes, okay, what is it? And he goes, Nick? Nick says, no, you on a roll. You tell him. And by the way, Nick said a couple of snide, jerkish things, to Adam as he sat. Because when Adam accepted the whole office thing without a hitch, Nick says, look, I know you look like my brother, but you sure aren't acting like my brother. Who are you? And so Nick goes, Nick, stop it. And he goes, yeah, okay. No, Nick, you are so unprofessional constantly. So Sharon says, we decided to change the name of Augustus to SNA Media. Adam's face looked. He goes, S, and he looked at Sharon, N, and then he thought, A, Media. He goes, okay, I like it. And Nick looks like, okay, what's the catch? And Sharon's looking like, okay, what's the catch? She goes, well, this meeting is going much better than I thought. And so Adam says, what did you guys think? I was just going to fight you on everything? That I wasn't going to just be unagreeable across the board? And Nick says, yeah, pretty much, because that's far for something he says. And Sharon goes, Nick. He goes, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, that was out of line. And I'm like, no, I don't like none of that, Nick. So they're just kind of looking like, okay, what is he up to? And when Adam is this agreeable on everything, you do have to wonder, what is he up to? There's a shoe getting ready to be dropped. So we shall see, everybody. We shall see what shoe is about to be dropped. So anyway, that's it. Oh, we got a comment from Comment Corner. Let me go to Comment Corner. Comment Corner. LaShanta says, Vicky, Nate, and Audra need to get theirs. She's finally get suspicious. So sick of them trying to get Adam out of the way. She defends Nate, but wake up. I can't stand Kyle and Audra. Audra is so smug. Adam is going to get them. Why Kyle insert himself in everything? Have a seat, Nick. I'll never understand why Nick hates Adam so much, but he begged him to save Faith's life. I know. Adam was good enough to save his daughter's life, and he was the good brother for all of 2 months, and then they went back to normal because Nick is like, good. That kidney is good and really working well in my daughter. So I don't need to be nice to you anymore, brother. So anyway, that's it, everybody. That's it for my daily recap of The Young and the Restless.